Last week in sports, the Buffalo Bills make some shocking moves to their offense, all as Draymond Green pretends the NBA is actually the WWE. Meanwhile, the injury bug has affected both college and NFL football. And we also have updates surrounding the Adam Johnson story. This is Last Week in Sports. Welcome into Last Week in Sports. My name is Matthew Freeman. It has been a very busy week in the world of sports, starting with an update to last week's Jim Harbaugh situation, where Harbaugh bit the bullet and decided to take the suspension placed on him by the Big Ten, forcing him out of the game versus Ohio State this weekend. Then on Tuesday, the Buffalo Bills made the surprising move and fired their offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, who I'm sure heard the news and threw his phone at the wall like a 12-year-old losing a game of Fortnite. The Bills named Joe Brady, not related to Tom Brady, as the interim replacement, and hopes the Brady name can rub some good fortune into quarterback Josh Allen, who has only 2 games this year without throwing an interception, where he leads the league with 12 so far this year. After the Bills' horrific loss to the Broncos on Monday Night Football, Trayvon Diggs, Dallas Cowboys cornerback and brother to the Bills' leading wideout Stephon Diggs, tweeted saying, 14 gotta get up out of there. And he, referring to Josh Allen, didn't start going off until my bro got there. Adding even more drama to an already Kardashian-level locker room, to the point I'm actually upset we're gonna be following the Miami Dolphins with the midseason Hard Knocks instead of the Bills. Although, with Tua Tagovailoa's recent new haircut.
But Drake, I don't know if I look like Drake. Drake?
Yeah, Drake? Drake?
I think some entertainment can still come from that show.
Kiki.
Before Diggs was traded to the Bills, Allen had only a 56.3 completion percentage in 2 seasons. Since Diggs was traded in 2020, Allen has jumped to 66% completions.
0-0 the first 2 minutes. And then look at Klay Thompson and McDaniels. What is going on with that? Wow. You've got a full-on fracas going on.
Then later that Tuesday night in the NBA, we got our annual street fight featuring Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors. I may be amping that up a little bit, but Green's actions against the Minnesota Timberwolves resulted in a 5-game suspension. And what started as a scuffle between Klay Thompson and Jaden McDaniels, with Rudy Gobert coming in to break it all up, Green decided he wanted to fight and locked Gobert in a freaking headlock and dragged him all the way to the free throw line. This would result in Green, Thompson, and McDaniels to be ejected from the game, as well as be fined $25,000, along with Gobert, who literally had his hands up the entire time Green had him in a chokehold. You're wrong for that, NBA. Justice for Gobert in those comments below. All of this led to the 5-game suspension of Draymond Green for escalating an on-court altercation.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
This will be Green's 5th suspension in his career. The past suspensions definitely playing a role in the number of games he was suspended for this time. Most recently, Green was suspended for Game 3 of the first-round playoffs against Sacramento last season. After Green stomped on the chest of Kings center Domantas Sabonis, Green had already been ejected 2 games so far this season, and we are barely 10% of the way through the season.
Just clown behavior.
Gobert did throw out his opinion that Green purposely tries to get himself ejected from any games that Steph Curry is out of. So I gotta ask any Warriors fans watching, do you believe Draymond Green is worth keeping on your team? Let me know in those comments down below.
Tungo Vailoa. Nice catch. Here goes Hill. Kiss him goodbye. Touchdown, Tyreek Hill.
Now in other NFL news, wait, what is that? Oh God, is that the injury bug? Is it on its way to the NFL? It seems that way, as 33 NFL players suffered injuries by the end of the week, not including any injuries that may happen on Sunday Night Football as I'm recording this video. Some notable names starting with Joe Burrow of the Bengals tearing a ligament in his wrist, which will need surgery and force him to remain out for the rest of the season. A stat that I saw earlier today that may send shockwaves down Bengals fans' back, as he has been sacked 148 times in his 52 starts. That's 33 more times than Andrew Luck was sacked at 52 games. Now, if you don't know, Andrew Luck famously retired from football because he was getting hit way too damn much. So I just wanted to point out that stat for Bengals fans. Green Bay Packers also caught an attack from the injury bug as running back Aaron Jones and backup Emmanuel Wilson went down with injuries during the Packers' home win over the Chargers, while the Chargers defensive end Joey Bosa left the game with an apparent foot injury. Quarterback Geno Smith and Kenneth Walker for the Seattle Seahawks also went down with injuries in their close loss to the Rams, who they saw wideout Cooper Kupp leave the game with an ankle injury. These are just the notable names that got injured last week in the NFL. 3 Bills secondary went down with injuries, with safety Taylor Rapp being taken off the field by an ambulance. Wishing all these players that were injured a speedy recovery, but someone needs to get that damn fly swatter and kill that injury bug before it claims more victims. Was Aaron Rodgers and Captain Kirk Cousins not enough, you sick bastard?
Travis looking left, fires, touchdown Florida State on the strike.
Then on Saturday night, as Florida State battled North Alabama during the Seminole Senior Night, a night meant to show love and praise for the senior players on the team, and a night where we saw famous Jameis Winston get his jersey retired.
Let's go. That's a W. That's E1. That's E1. That's a W.
Tragedy unfortunately struck during the first quarter of the game as standout quarterback Jordan Travis went down with a nasty-looking leg injury during a run in the first quarter. Trainers immediately rushed to Travis as the sold-out Doak Campbell crowd fell into silence. Teammates from both sides of the field took a knee and watched as Travis was placed in an air cast and carted off the field, with Seminole fans chanting for Travis as he made his exit.
You know, obviously Jordan is so important to this team, and not just as the quarterback, but just who he is and what he stands for. And so I mean, it's when you see a player get hurt, and and not really knowing what that's gonna be. But obviously, I mean, it was something that it was emotional, and it was emotional for everybody.
Now I gotta say, as a Seminoles fan myself, this one is just heartbreaking to see. In his 6th year, Travis has emerged as one of the best signal callers in the country after starting his career as a Wildcat quarterback, using both his running and passing abilities to lead the Seminoles to 16 straight victories. This season, Travis has thrown 2,734 yards with 20 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions, adding 7 rushing touchdowns to a very impressive season. I can confidently say Travis has been the best player Florida State has had since Dalvin Cook in 2017. And with this being his final year at Florida State, it's just tough seeing a talent like this go down right before the NFL draft. But I refuse to end this story on a sour note, so I'm calling out Bill Belichick of the New England Patriots. If you still have your job somehow next season, I'm calling on you to take a good hard look at Jordan Travis. You had your opportunity to draft your franchise quarterback in Jalen Hurts, but instead went with the frat boy every girl is told to stay away from in Mac Jones. You have another golden opportunity here to draft a potential franchise guy, and you won't even need to spend a top pick on him. So be smart, get yourself a weapon like Marvin Harrison Jr. with your first round pick, then wait for Travis in the later rounds. I may be biased when I say this, but I believe Travis is the most NFL-ready quarterback coming into this draft. Certainly more ready than crybaby Caleb Williams, who every day just reminds me more and more of Bo Callahan from draft day.
Oh, and by the way, I'd like to offer my condolences for your father.
Thanks for saying that. Thank Chris for me. Talk to you later, pal.
Okay.
And now I want to talk about the unfortunate story surrounding the Adam Johnson situation, because police seem to believe this may be more than just an accident. For those unfamiliar with this story, back on October 28th, while playing in a championship game in England for the Nottingham Panthers against the Sheffield Steelers, Johnson collided with a member of the opposing team, and the other guy's skate cut Johnson's throat. While he was immediately rushed to the local hospital, he was soon pronounced dead. Hundreds of hockey fans across the world, including Pittsburgh, where he played for the Pittsburgh Penguins in the NHL, attending his vigil, leaving flowers, candles, hockey sticks at his memorial, as well as his partner giving an extremely touching tribute.
The last year or so, you came up with so many different plans for us, from starting a farm or a coffee shop, or me becoming some big hotshot so you could be a stay-at-home dad with a whole van full of kids you wanted. I wish we could have had all of that and more, and I pray that in another life we do. I'm so lucky to have loved you and been unconditionally loved by you. To me, you were everything. You were my home, my best friend, my sounding board, my rock, my safe haven, and the love of my life. I'm never going to stop thinking about you, missing you, and loving you until we can be together again. I love you.
There has been a lot of debate online about whether this was just a freak accident or did this guy on the other team intend to hurt him. But on Tuesday last week, police in England arrested Matt Petgrave, the player who collided with Johnson, on manslaughter charges related to Johnson's death. Teammate of Johnson, Weston McLeod, who posted tributes to Johnson on his social media, has also defended Petgrave, saying the hate Matt is receiving is terrible and completely uncalled for, and that it's clear his actions were unintentional and anyone suggesting otherwise is mistaken. Reacting to Johnson's death, the English Ice Hockey Association will now require all players in England to wear neck guards from the start of 2024. Since the situation is still developing, that's all I have for this story right now, but I'm curious of what y'all think of this story, and be sure to let me know what your thoughts are in those comments down below.
NCAA.
Now that we have reached the end of the video, that means it's time for our weekly tradition here on the show and award the new and gorgeous last week MVP trophy to the person who made history last week. But first, I want to talk about the runner-up for this beautiful trophy, the James Madison football program. After reaching a 10-0 record, JMU was wrongfully denied entry by the NCAA into any bowl games once the season is done. JMU then set college game day records with 28,000 people in attendance for their matchup against Appalachian State. You had the whole world in your hands. It was your moment to show the world you were a legit contender. Then what did you do?
Well, kid, you blew it.
You blew it in overtime to the team known for upsetting. You had all the hype around you. Pat McAfee even took off his shirt for you. And how do you repay him? By losing? Y'all were this close to getting this exquisite trophy, but you blew it. Instead, the last week MVP award will go to Becky Lynch of the WWE. Not for anything she did on Raw or SmackDown, however, but for her appearance on Celebrity Jeopardy with Kevin from Home Alone and John Oliver's wife, comedian Rachel Dratch, where Becky set an impressive all-time record for the show by getting 0 correct answers through 60 clues, something no one has ever done before. Yeah, you heard me right. Becky didn't answer even one question correctly. I mean, come on, Bex. I thought you were the man.
Tomato sauce is in Sloppy Joe's with beef, and beef is with bacon in this beloved Wendy's burger, introduced in 2007. It's not your Wendy's order, I guess. Becky, you have a guess?
What is the Baconator?
That is correct. It is the Baconator.
It is the Baconator.
Yes. You didn't have the courage of your fast food convictions.
No, it didn't.
You know what? Jeopardy is hard, guys. Give her some slack. I'm sure her clicker just wasn't working. This episode did draw 4.2 million viewers to watch, however, which did set a record for viewership for Jeopardy this season. Becky just can't seem to stop making history, in or out of the WWE. And for that, Becky, you are the last week MVP. Congratulations. I'm sure that this moment has to be up there with main eventing WrestleMania. I mean, who wouldn't want this lovely trophy?
Come on, Tom, say it with me, you pancake-eating motherfucker.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this update into last week in sports. Let me know what you thought about any of the stories in the video in the comments. If there were any stories that you wanted me to talk about, please let me know as well. There was a lot of stories that I couldn't talk about this week because there was honestly way too much to talk about. I will be there to talk anything sports in the comment section below though. Until next week, this has been Last Week in Sports. My name is Matthew Freeman, and I'll see ya when I see ya.